I want to talk about how I deal with my conflicts when it comes down to dealing with my partner. How I dealt with my conflict, and hopefully from this little story you guys can take some teaching points and incorporate some of these techniques and tips into your own relationship. Just a quick story. It was late last night, not exactly the day before this that I'm filming now, but it was last night ago, and it was me, my son and my wife sleeping in the same bed. My son is only about 1 year and probably about a month old. Now, my son has a habit of scratching people. Whenever you try to pick him up, he'll scratch you or he'll bite you. Now, this time that he scratched my wife's eye and scratched her, she got a bit frustrated. And at the same time, because I was sleeping on the other side of the bed, I accidentally brushed my heel on her leg, and that hurt her. So she got wound up, she got a bit frustrated, and she vented her anger out on the both of us. Me, on the receiving end, I retaliated, but my son didn't, because he, you know, that's just kids, what they do, isn't it, you know? Kids don't know any better at that age. But me, being an adult, I retaliated, I took it in the wrong way, and I started to curse, to cuss, and to use abusive language. And then I walked out of the room, went into the other room, to the living room, from the bedroom to the living room. Then I realised what I've done, the mistake I've made. I called off, reflected, thought, and during that time I was thinking, my wife broke down and cried. You know, because of the language and the tone of voice that I used, and I just projected on her. It was really foul and horrible. Anyways, later that night, during that time, that little space that we had away from each other, I came back to bed. Now, by that time, my wife was asleep, lying on her stomach, so her back was facing me. Now, what I had to do is, I approached her, I massaged her back and said, "Baby, I'm sorry, I don't want to fight with you, I want to work things out." Now, she was still upset, so she rejected me, she pushed me away, she said, "I don't want to talk to you, move away, go away." So, as I kept on rubbing her and massaging her, she would reject me, and she would keep on saying these things until eventually she gave in, because I was persistent in massaging her. And then the night was left at that. The next morning, the following morning, I had to do some errands, she had to do some errands, but we both had to go out at the same time. So we got ready, we took our child out, and on the pram, I was pushing the pram down the street, and then I tried to grab her by the hand and hold her. And first that she resisted, she pulled away when I tried to reach her hand, but then eventually that she gave in, and then I told her, "Baby, I love you." So, and then she softened up, and then she was starting to break down her barriers, you know, and I was slowly getting through, and slowly I would say, "Baby, I'm sorry for what I did," and stuff. But she still kept on rejecting me for a little bit, and then she told me how much I hurt her. And at this point, when the situation is very sensitive, it's very important to take note when one person needs to speak, the other one needs to listen, because at this point, if you both try to speak and try to explain to each other why that you did the things that you did and reacted the way that you did, it's going to cause an argument. So the best thing is to do is the person who is the most coolest in that scenario should take a step back and listen to what's been said. So that's exactly what I did. And before we departed, I went to my mum's, she went to hers with my son, that we called off. And during the time I was away, that I worked on myself. I worked on feeling good, doing things to make me feel good and motivate myself, so I could come back in the relationship with positive energy. What I did during that time I was away from her and my son was to train, do some physical exercise, and also listen to some inspirational and motivational talks from YouTube. And then I'll come back with this good energy, this positive energy to bring back into the relationship. And that's exactly what I did, and so did my wife. My wife went off and done what she had to do and thought about it. We all came together, and this time that we talked about the situation, that we communicated, and then we just made up, we kissed and we hugged, and we communicated effectively, and the love just increased. I'll tell you the thing, the couple of key points to take from this little story here is this, guys. It is so important that the man must chase, especially when he's in the wrong. Let me rewind that. I'll tell you what, when you've made a mistake, first of all, take accountability, reflect and take accountability for what you've done. Then also incorporate a bit of space between you two, but don't leave for too long. and don't brush things under the carpet, because by you brushing underneath things underneath the carpet, guess what happens? You end up throwing digs later on in the relationship, because things ain't resolved from day one. Things are just built up one after another, one after another. Things, you know, and you're venting your anger out in each other in so many different ways. So you want to nip things in the bud. Don't leave things filtering for too long in the atmosphere, because it creates a lot of tension in the relationship. So again, reflect and take accountability, have a bit of space, and then also come in and out. The man has to come in and out, you know, from time to time, say a few words and then retract and keep on coming back and forward. Be affectionate. Affectionate is such a crucial thing, and the hardest thing, a part of the journey, is to deal with rejection, because you have to be persistent and be able to deal with rejection. You can't crumble, because if you crumble, your relationship is on the line. And then this is where the man has to man up. The man has to do the chasing. Yes, he has to do the chasing, and the part of the chase is to deal with a lot of rejection. She will say things like, leave me alone, go away, but it's up to you to say some kind words at this moment, to be very patient, let her vent her anger out on you, and also be affectionate by holding her, and also knowing the fact that you would win her over. Now, this is all about your mentality and your psychology. This is where it kicks in. So if you want a great relationship, a beautiful relationship, a loving, lasting relationship, these are the things that you have to do, because it's all part of the territory by dealing with rejection. Because if I were to sum up all this incident that I just talked about, it's all about dealing with rejection. If you can deal with rejection time after time after time, you become a better person and a stronger person, and whatever tests come your way, you will work it out. And also at the same time, it's also important for you to get a bit of space, but not too long, and work on yourself. Do things that will make you feel positive, feel upbeat, so you can bring that back into the relationship and have that energy to fight for her. You have to chase her. And if she's really interested in you, do you know what? She'll let on signs. She'll let off signs for you to pursue her. You know, if you keep on persistently pursuing her, she'll break down. She'll put her barriers down and allow you in. This is like a hidden language that you guys have to go through the motion to understand. But if you guys are doing this, where you just had a row or an argument, and there's a bit of space between both spouses, and then you're coming together, but nothing's been resolved, nothing's been communicated, then I'm sorry, things are going to go downhill. So that is my insight for today. I know I'm just going on and on and on. I hope I didn't bore you. Take whatever is good from what I've just said and ignore the rest. Until then, guys, take care, stay strong, stay focused, and always live to learn, to empower and inspire the lives of many as well as yourself. Bye for now.